like an asshole about that.
Alright, so we were just talking about how, well, first we went to the fucking, the mall, and then Kelson tried to do his speech on the fucking Illuminati.
Lasted 10 seconds.
Yeah, because the fucking cop came, which we're gonna upload that video. And then, yeah, we got kicked out of there. Then we went down to the fucking ocean front. We started talking about the Illuminati and shit, trying to sell Kelson's books, and I was busking and shit. And we were just talking about, how the difference between, what will come first. Either veganism or the fall of corporations and all that shit. And so I want to go through the debate me and Kelson just had again. So it's like I think that veganism will come sooner than the fall of corporations and shit. But then Kelson enlightened me on why the corporations will fall sooner than veganism. And would you like to say it again, Kelson? Because it was like
they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the meat industry is a fucking corporation and everything. And say everything you were gonna say.
Yeah, so I feel like an asshole for the way that the conversation went between us, but I'm actually really glad you pulled the camera out, because that's the shit where it's like we should be recording anything we say of value. So I mean, on a level with the corporationism, you hate the government, right? Because they tax you. Your taxes, they literally tax you to exist. And people will literally admit that shit, where it's like, if the government could tax oxygen, they would. Well, gee, doesn't that make them the tyrannical force that you claim that they are? So then, they're gonna tax you for your living. Did you also know that they pump fluoride into your water, and that they put hormones and pheromones and all these artificial preservatives into your meat? And then, because I mean, you'll admit that shit, all of you know it. People have been speaking out about this for fucking years, decades, basically the last century. So once you go beyond that shit, you get to the point where it's like, hey, did you also know that they convince you that you need meat to exist, that you need meat to survive, the same way they convince you that you need a house to live and survive, because God forbid you don't have a shelter and meat on your fucking table. So at that point, then you realize the meat industry's fucked, because the government is fucked, because the corporations run them, and those are fucked, and we're all living in a system of enslavement that's all tied in together. So the government's evil, they're taxing you for your life. Then you got the governments that are literally regulating the food that is being paid off by the food ministry to fucking support. So then you got the government being paid off, you got the food industries being paid off, you've got the corporations paying them off, but the corporations pay tax to the government, and then the government lets them do what they do, and then we, the consumer, are at the bottom level of all this shit, where we don't see all these microtransactions between all this shit, so all we know is that I need beef to live, and if you don't have beef, then you're fucked. But really, your beef is fake meat. Your beef is fake meat pumped full of fucking chemicals.
And hormones and antibiotics and shit that you don't need that just makes you sick.
So that's why it's like...
And they try to market it as like man food and all kinds of shit, but it's just marketing. It's fucking propaganda garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Brainwashing shit.
And you look at the Second Amendment right to bear arms, everybody's like, yeah, I mean, that's the right to bear arms. Most people, I mean, the smart ones realize that's the right to bear arms against a tyrannical government. The stupid ones, which is the majority of everybody, that's my right to bear arms to hunt, because hunting is the most masculine thing you could do. What's the most American thing you could do? Because like I told Curtis, what's the most American thing in the world that you could do?
Put a cow on a fucking grill.
Yeah, barbecuing a fucking carcass. That's so American, it's so manly. You killed a fucking animal, and then you cut it open, and then you took all the fucking meat, you threw it on a barbecue, and now you got burgers and hot dogs. Cool. So great. Meanwhile, you're still paying tax to the government, and why did you even bother hunting that animal with that fucking $1,500 hunting rifle that you bought, when you could literally go to Walmart and get a burger for $1? Because you wanted to buy the burger for $1, but you also wanted to buy the gun for $1,500, and then you wanted to go hunting to kill a cow for an unnecessary amount of money, for an unnecessary amount of life lost, for an unnecessary amount of sucking corporate dick.
Yeah, basically. So, I actually agree with Kelson now that the fucking fall of corporations and shit will lead to veganism rising.
Yeah, because it's like the downside thing where they all tie into each other, so it's like, if you focus only on like the capitalist agenda, then you're losing track of veganism, human rights, and all this other shit. If you focus just on veganism, you lose track of the corporations that rule us and enslave us and literally promote the anti-vegan agenda. If you focus on any of it, on its own, you're fucked. That's why communism doesn't work, because they don't focus on every aspect of human rights and human equality. They just focus on capitalism is bad, so let's just give everybody everything for free. And that doesn't really work out the same way that the vegan protest is making momentum and it's working, but it's not working in the fullest, because essentially you convert one person to a vegan diet, but Panda Express still exists, Burger King still exists, and they still make millions a day, and that millions a day funds the 150 million cows killed. So really, when you convert one person to veganism, all you've done is basically make the animals they were eating's lives that much less valuable, because then they're being thrown away at the end of the day, because the corporation is not going to stop producing. Supply and demand. So until you get rid of the whole demand, there's always going to be a supply. Until you get rid of the supply, there will always be a demand for the shit that's being supplied. If you get rid of the supplier and the demand for what they're supplying, then it just doesn't exist anymore. And that's the only real way that I could see for any movement to work, is to incorporate all aspects as one. Otherwise, there will always be a place, there will always be a pocket, there will always be a person who is against the promotion of that agenda.
Yeah, basically.
So I guess that's our little deep talk for the moment, and that was basically a summary of all the shit we were saying condensed.
It's neat that I had my camera on me, because I usually don't, but I had it because we were out trying to do a disruption. We might do a disruption at a fucking Arby's today too, because I'm just feeling pissed off as fuck today, because we're just sick of being broke, and we're sick of fucking living in the goddamn storage unit in this fucking city that doesn't give a fuck about anything, and they're speciesist, racist, homophobic assholes. And yeah, everybody just comes here to die and retire, or fucking they're here for the military, and they're just a bunch of squares. And I hate it. And I'm so pissed off.
And if you don't believe any of the shit we've said, if you want to disprove any of the shit we've said, I've said this a handful of times, but I should say it more often, and I will say it right now. If you don't believe us, do the fucking research, and then fucking disprove it with facts. Not only that, question everything, even yourself. Because what the fuck is reality? We don't really know.
Alright, Antichrist, out.